Hello guys, and today I need all of your attention because on the surface it may seem that we will talk about two more Russian aircraft destroyed, minus two Su-30 in Lipetsk, which makes 5 aircraft during just 1 week demilitarized. And we will also talk about another Russian general neutralized in Moscow, which makes the third Russian general during this year. But no, the most important message of all these events is that they happen deep inside the Russian rear with the support of various resistant movements that grow stronger and stronger, larger and larger deep inside the Russian Federation. Plus, we are able to perform really difficult intelligence military operations because once again those 3 generals that joined the majority of the Russian soldiers in hell all were neutralized in Moscow or in the Moscow region that previously seemed totally safe for various kinds of war and other criminals. But after the failure of Putin's blitzkrieg that inspired Ukraine to grow stronger and smarter, justice will find them literally in every corner of the world. So let's discuss what all of this means for the implementation of the only working peace plan to defeat and demilitarize Russia. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see Putin in The Hague or justice served to this Kremlin goblin in any other way, subscribe and share these videos to spread the truth. So let's begin with the aircraft because this week was very bad both for the Russian civilian aviation that is literally destroyed by Putin's economic mismanagement, country's isolation, but honestly they don't need that aviation, taking into account that every week they have hundreds of cancelled flights due to the Ukrainian long-range drones and missiles that travel to legitimate sites in very different and now more and more distant parts of the Russian Federation. So first we destroyed 3 aircraft in Belbek, 2 Sus and 1 MiG-31, and now minus 2 Su-30 in Lipetsk, deep inside the Russian rear, and according to the official reports, with the support, information, and literal support of the resistant movement inside Russia. This resistance movement is extremely important because just a couple of years ago no one could imagine they will fight alongside with us, and now we know about many that first of all appeared on the temporarily occupied territories, then on the peninsula in Crimea, and now finally we read about more and more of them in different parts of the Russian Federation. And here I need to remind you to watch my interview with Rajana Dugar-de-Ponte, leader of the Free Nations League, a representative of one of many peoples that one beautiful day will regain their freedom after the collapse of the Russian Federation. But let's talk about another intelligence operation that I consider super important, and that is minus 1 Russian general. He was neutralized again in Moscow, and actually we have a list. Seems like a Christmas wish list of people who want to live in peace and security because it includes 3 generals that Russia lost this year. These were top managers of the Russian army, strategists, and believe me, if we compare the quality of the Russian military decision back in 2022 and now, they are uncomparably worse now. You can clearly see the front line is not moving. And what Putin wants to sell to Trump is old, outdated fakes of the Cold War. Just look at the budget, Russians withdrawing money from their bank accounts, and panic all over the Federation with protests, more and more, nationwide protests of taxi drivers. People protest against the increase of VAT. People protest against empty local regional budgets and the inability to pay money to the Russian war criminals, I mean those who joined the Russian army. But today, Russia lost one more general, and that was Major General oh my God, Famil Sarvarov. It was an operation, an intelligence, a military operation, which proved an extremely important thing in the modern chaotic world where people want to undermine everything, morals, responsibility for your crimes. Justice must be served. My dear American viewers, justice must be served. That is super important, way more important than anything else. Moral clarity. I know you know that. And actually, two more generals were neutralized in Moscow or Moscow region. One in December, literally 1 year, almost 1 year ago, Igor Kirillov, and another one, Yaroslav Moskalik, in April. So, what is important here? These generals were not on the front lines. Russian generals avoid, like front lines, same as Putin. You will never see him in Kupiansk. He constantly talks about capturing, but President Zelensky was there with his new iPhone. And I hope you've understood that he did not demonstrate the new iPhone just for the sake of demonstration. It was meant to show that this video was filmed exactly in the moment when Putin kept lying that the Russian army controls the city. And by the way, Putin could not answer questions about this event during his so-called address. That was an epic fail. And more Russian vloggers talk about that the Kremlin does not control the army, does not control the borders, does not control the skies, and now they even lose the control over the public opinion. That is super important. That is a great change. Same as the fact that three of these top generals of the Russian army were neutralized, or should I say degeneralized, deep inside the Russian Ria, actually in the capital of the Russian Federation, that seemed totally invincible, that was totally safe for all these criminals before Putin triggered the collapse. He triggered that collapse with the special military operation against Ukraine. Trust me, no matter how hard some people, businessmen in around the White House, no matter how hard China will try to save Putin, the collapse of the Russian Federation, their economy is irreversible. Russians withdraw their money for a reason. They sense the things that they are hiding from you with the help of Russian money on various TV channels, with the influence, various corrupt and business offers to people who kind of love it. But the reality is different, and Russians know it better, same as these three generals that now join the majority of the Russian soldiers, and all of them are in hell. Because all of them had a choice: stay in their country and try to save the Russian Federation, or attack Ukraine and then watch the collapse of the Russian Federation. Thank you so much for your support, for your comments. Let me know, what do you think is the greatest achievement of the Ukrainian army in 2025? I think we might discuss it sometime soon, but I'm super interested to know, what do you personally think? And every opinion matters because we are a great community of friends. Follow me on Anna Danilchuk. There is a new video there. And I hope our community will grow that too. Follow me on X, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, Discord. All the links in the description of this video, same as the link to our merch shop with lots of beautiful items that can turn into beautiful holiday presents and then can turn you and your loved ones into the ambassadors of Ukraine, reminding the world about our fight and the need to defeat Russia. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channels, and giving me this amazing opportunity to speak more about Ukraine and to share the truth from this part of the world, because you can only make real decision based on this real truth coming from Ukraine. Love you very much. Slava Ukraini!